Good morning, everybody. This is Pastor Ron. This is day one of my journey through faith, or on my road to faith. I posted on Facebook last night, and that this was going to be the start. I was going to do a vlog about my journey to faith. As a pastor, we teach it in Bible study, we preach it in our sermons on Sunday. But I don't think a lot of us have really transparently talked about faith and what it means to really have faith in the struggle. It's real easy to tell other people to continue to trust God and continue to have faith in God and give them all the right scriptures and say all the right things. And so as I go through this journey, just to recap, I left a very good job working for Toyota, respected in my field. Had moved from California to Texas, had a beautiful home in Texas, and when an opportunity came to come back to California to work for a startup company, which I didn't take lightly. This was a decision my wife and I made together, prayerfully made together. We prayed a lot for a while before we finally acquiesced and said, let's go. We really truly believe in our hearts that we were led back to California by God. And so we get here and everything is great. Get a new house to us, but we just moved into a new house, and the job is going great. And then the financial word comes, and or lack of financial issues start to arise. And that's something you expect when you go to a startup. My wife and I knew this. We talked about it because it's very high risk, but there's also very high reward if it hits. But no one really expects for the low. It's there, but it's a totally different thing. So they've gone through last week a round of pay cuts, 20% pay cut across the board for everybody, and they furloughed or laid off several people, approximately 400 people. And I survived that, and I thought that I was good with my 20% pay cut. Well, we got news this week, or actually last week, that there were possibly going to be more layoffs, and we didn't really think there would be, but they are. And this time I did not make the cut of those who got to stay behind. This morning, I'm actually going to work. I'm sitting in my car and letting it warm up now. But I go to work today knowing that when I leave work, that tomorrow morning, there is no get up and go to work. I'll receive my final check, and according to the plan of the company, if things work out the way they plan, they will be calling us back to work in January. So we're talking about 2 months with no income if you just sit around. And so this inspiration came to me to chronicle this walk. This is the first time in my life, being over 50 years old, never having a job by force. There were times when I was unemployed as a teenager because school got in the way, other things got in the way, left to go to college. But as an adult man, I've never been without a job. And so we start this journey with questions in our hearts, questions in our minds about why would God lead me back to California to take this exciting opportunity and then have it taken away from me. Well, sometimes I believe that there are things that are working. We do not always have knowledge of it. My favorite Bible scripture is Romans 8:28. And we know that all things are working together for the good of those who love the Lord, those who are called according to his purpose. And I have to lean on that scripture because I can't take the idea of thinking that something that we call as bad is not working for our good. If the word of God says everything is working for our good, that all means everything. That means problems at home. That means problems on the job. That means unemployment at times and facing uncertainty. What is it to be a pastor of a church? What is it to be a Christian and talk about having faith in God and actually never demonstrating faith? I kind of somewhat counseled a couple of my peers at work, and what really struck me was that instead of being sad, this was an opportunity to be excited. And the coworker looked at me as like, how can you be excited about losing your job? I said, it's not about being excited about losing your job. It's about being excited about God trusting me enough to have me go through this storm and hold on to my faith. It was exciting to be able to declare to Satan, to declare to the world, to declare to myself, and to declare to God that I trust you. God, I'm going to depend on you. I'm going to lean on your word, because you said that you would supply all my needs according to your riches. Now, my needs don't necessarily mean I need to have this house I'm in now. Maybe that means I have to downgrade to an apartment. This period of time is not one to sit back and just, well, I'm going to sit back and let God work. There are going to be times that may have to downgrade, eat a cup of noodles a couple days. Maybe we'll have to downgrade from the house to an apartment. I don't know what that means. My needs are to have the basic necessities of life. But regardless, I'm going to trust God through it all. I just preached a sermon on Sunday called Hope When It's Hopeless. And one of the quotes I got from a man named Ben Sorello, and he said, there are no hopeless situations, only people who have no hope in their situations. And so while it looks hopeless, what I'm hoping to do for anybody out there is not just to look at me and be curious about what's happening. I'm hoping, and the desire of my heart is that while I'm going through my valley, and you may be in a valley, you may be in a dark place, that as you see me take this journey, that maybe you can take some things of what's happening in my life and apply it to your situation and understand that you have to trust more in God, lean more on God. This is an exciting time for me. I don't want anybody to feel sorry for me. I got a lot of comments and text messages already about how great I am and the things that I've accomplished. And again, this is not about that. Don't feel sorry for me. God is going to do something great, and I am going to be there, and I'm going to continue to trust in him. David wrote in the 23rd Psalm in verse 4, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Being a person of faith does not mean that we will never have issues. It means quite the opposite. And David proved that when a man who was after God's own heart had to go through the valley of the shadow of death. This is a valley point in my life. You are having valley points in your life. But the good news is that David said the shadow, and when it seems dark, whenever there's a shadow, there's light. There is never a shadow in complete darkness. So knowing that there is light casting my shadow lets me know that God is working on my behalf. God is doing something. This darkness is not going to endure for a night. God also told us in Isaiah 43, in the first 2 verses, that he would be with us. Even when we go through the flood, the river would not overtake us. That when we walk through the fire, we will not be scorched. We will not be burned. That faith journey does not mean we never go through waters. We never have to go through the floods. We never have to go through the fire. We'll go through the fire, but God is there with us. So as I'm going through my valley, through my fire, through my flood, God is with me. And I want you to know, I want you to be encouraged this morning that there is light. That's why there's the shadow. God is with us. He said he would never leave us or forsake us. And I believe and trust in God. I hope that as we take this journey together, that my faith is strengthened even greater, and that you also witness what God is doing in your life. God bless you. And as my father in the ministry, Pastor Joe Nixon, would always say, I love you, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. God bless.